My stress reliever, my meditation is the photography. So we need to give the running and the management of the wildlife and the nature to experienced people. We have very inexperienced people now. To do photography, you need to have the passion, the love and the like for it. Decision makings have to be better than theirs, faster than theirs, and you can never let them bully you around.
Hi guys! So today is the last episode of my 20 questions, 20 photographers series, and we are going to interview an important person today. We're going to be talking to the Vice President of the Wholesale Banking Union Bank. She's a hobbyist photographer and she's crazy into it. Let's go ask her the 20 questions and see what she has to say, and let's just figure out about her life, shall we? Let's go in. Hello, how are you? Hello, Hiranthi. How are you doing today?
Hi, Neoline. Nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me the chance to ask you my 20 questions. I don't know if you know, today is the last episode of the entire series, and I saved the best one for the last. All right. So I know you're not a professionally a photographer, so let's just go to the 20 questions and figure out what you do.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Are we ready?
Yep.
Okay. So what is a normal day like for you?
So Monday to Friday, it's all about going to work. So I get up in the morning. So I actually normally check my schedule either the previous day in the night or in the morning to see what kind of appointments I have.
Yes.
So if it's a board meeting or a board subcommittee meeting or visiting a client, depending on who the visit is, I would decide to maybe wear sari.
Okay.
Otherwise, I just wear the Western clothing.
Yeah.
So it's about getting ready to go to work. After I get to work, it's all about work. It can be team meetings, team discussions, bank level meetings, bank discussions, customer visits, customer appointments with me. So it's a hectic day. So sometimes it's back to back. Sometimes I do have a little time because I do credit. There's a lot of approvals that I need to do.
It's a process.
So then I do keep some time for that if required. I generally tend to finish off at about 6, and then I do my exercises. It's either the gym, swim, or a jog or a walk at Torrington. So these days going to a gym is an issue. So I do a bit of gymming at home.
Okay, cool.
So and then when it comes to weekends, it's if I'm at home, it's about home chores, maybe a little bit of gardening, and I also do my photography, the post processing, the editing parts in the weekend. If it is a weekend out, so then obviously it's to do with photography, and so that's my life.
That's your life. So now that we've said what your life is like, let's get into what you actually do for a living. What do you do for a living?
Okay, I'm a banker by profession. I'm the Vice President Wholesale Banking at Union Bank. I joined Union Bank 5 years ago. Union Bank had an investment by a large fund manager in the US. So I was headhunted. Prior to that, I was at Sampath Bank. I was the Deputy General Manager Sampath Bank at the time I resigned. Okay,
cool. So now we have a better idea, like how, you gave me like a really big schedule, like a lot of meetings, and now we know what kind of meetings you actually attend to. All right, so let's get to your third question. How did you get into photography with all this that's going on in your life?
Okay, actually, Noeline, it was more about, it wasn't photography initially. It was more about my love, mine and my family's love for the wild. I was taken into the jungle when I was 1 year old. And so did with my daughter. I did the same. I took her into the jungle when she was 1 year old. And it was actually, and we didn't stay in 5-star hotels outside. We stayed inside the park in those wildlife bungalows, very basic conditions. So initially it was the love for the wild. Then gradually I wanted to photograph what I actually saw with my eyes.
Save the memories. Yes.
So initially it was a point and shoot, and then later developed into the more advanced gear. So my husband brought me a DSLR. I tried to learn it on my own, but with my work ethic, I didn't have time. So I went for this class at the society, at the photography society, there was a basic photography class. Actually, it was conducted by, the teacher was Hiranthi de Silva.
Okay.
And I know he is the one who actually nominated me to do
Yes,
this
that's
interview.
true.
Yeah.
And many others, among many others, he was one. Yes.
So then I did the course, and then I got more and more interested in photography. And then it was all about improving the quality of my images. So then I wanted to invest more and more in gear and the works that goes with it.
Yes, that's right.
So then I joined the Photography Society Exco in 2011 or 12.
Okay.
And I was the first lady president of the Photographic Society.
Girl, that's right.
In I think it was 16, 17.
Excellent.
So it's a 112-year-old society.
Wow.
So being the first lady president was something of importance.
That is.
Yeah. And then also while at Sampath Bank, I was instrumental in starting the Sampath Bank photographic. They have a photographic club called Kacha. So I was the president in the first 2 years until I resigned.
Okay.
I do participate in a little bit of competition, not in a big way.
Yeah.
Now it's more about collecting my portfolio, having a portfolio. And I know people haven't seen my photographs because I don't put it.
We will showcase today.
Okay, so because I don't put it everywhere, but I want to have a portfolio for myself.
Yeah.
So in the period that I was actually putting for little competitions, I did win some very basic awards. Actually, I won the state has the state awards.
Yes.
So in 2018, I won 3rd place in the wildlife category for one of the photographs I had taken. So that's how, from a lover for the wild, I developed into being
not a professional,
not a hobby photographer.
A hobbyist photographer. Okay. So I know you do a bunch of wildlife as well as landscape photography, right?
Yes, yeah.
Why not? What kind of photography do you enjoy the most? I know you said you love the wild part of it, but like I know you do beautiful landscape photography as well. What do you enjoy the most?
Okay, actually I like both.
Okay.
But here in Sri Lanka, landscape photography is very limited, because there aren't many places, beautiful places that you would actually want to do good photographs. So now what I've started doing is I've started traveling to do landscape photography. I did a trip to Iceland last year in October, and I did actually, the images that I got, I'm very happy with it.
Excellent.
So I like both, just that because the opportunities in Sri Lanka for landscape is very, I do more of
wildlife here in Sri Lanka. Yeah. Okay, so right now it would be wildlife because you can't travel much.
Yes, exactly.
You're like stuck with the choice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Would you ever want to try another genre of photography? Because like these two, it's just a love for wildlife, and then landscape, it just gradually came along with it. Would you be interested maybe in, let's say, portrait photography?
Yeah, so I do a little bit of travel photography.
Okay.
So in the Photography Society, we have different interest groups. So I am actually in the street travel interest group. So when I travel for wildlife and the other thing, I do a bit of travel where I take pictures of the streets and the people in the streets and stuff like that. Portraits,
not so much.
Not so
but
much.
Travel, you would travel or street, you would get into in the future. Okay. What is your current camera and lens?
Okay. As you may know, I use Sony now. I switched to Sony I switched to Sony about a year ago.
Okay. How's the transition is like?
Oh, actually, I'm very happy. So I'll tell you how I switched. So I use the Alpha 9 and the 7R 3. So
best in the range.
Yeah. So and initially I used the 100 to 400.
Okay.
But I now got that baby of a 600mm, which I purchased about 1 month ago.
Yeah.
So my go-to lenses right now, the go-to lenses are the 100 to 400 and the 600.
Okay.
And the Alpha 9 and the 7R 3.
Top of the range, girl.
So actually I switched just before I went to Iceland.
Okay.
Then I thought, oh my God, I'm going to mess it all up.
Yeah.
But actually I was very amazed with what I got with the Sony. And also before I actually switched to Sony, I was actually looking for a second camera.
Okay.
I was using Nikon before that. And I took, y'all gave me an 100 to 400 and a Alpha 9 to check it out.
Yes.
So I took it to Yala once, and I was amazed by the focusing, the ability for it to focus. I focused the photograph inside twigs.
Yeah.
And I was amazed by the sharpness.
Captured,
so that's when I actually decided. Initially I was going to run for the wildlife run to Sony, and for the
Regular
landscape
Nikon.
I was going to keep the Nikon, but then Anushka said no, you can't be having 2 sets of photographs.
We're gonna
and
go
then
for one.
and then that's how I switched
All
1
right.
year ago. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So comparatively, we have seen less women being in the industry of photography, or even doing, not in the industry, like not professionally, even as hobbyists, it's very less amount of women comparatively, right?
Yeah.
What do you think that is?
Okay, I think I see 2 reasons, Noeli. One is the fact that it's not it's an expensive hobby, right? So unless you earn money for yourself,
Disposable income.
disposable income you have for yourself, asking your spouse or your parents for gear to buy photographic gear might be a little bit of a challenge. So that's one reason I see. The second reason is it's not easy. Photography is not easy, especially in the wildlife side. You got to carry those heavy lenses,
there, right?
and then you got to manage those lenses to capture good photographs. And on the landscape side, sometimes with all the gear, you got to trek miles and miles to get to the, to where you actually photograph. So I see those 2 reasons as
Why?
However, having said that, now I'm involved in the Photographic Society. There are women who we see hobbyist women who are taking part. I think they are more into the travel side of photography.
So gradually it's improving,
Yes,
we could say.
yes.
So I know you do a lot of things. You maintain your health, your work, your family, house chores. How do you balance all this? That's like, as a woman, we have lots of things going on in our mind, just generally in life, right? There's so many. It's just not work. Like, I know you're having like a really high position in the industry that you're at, mainly male dominant, perhaps, right? Only they have that job and like go home and chill. Whereas you come home, you have the house chores to do, you have photography, and you are very like, you're like fanatically loving health. How do you manage all this?
Okay, so initially, if you actually, one of the reasons, if you ask me, one of the success stories as to how I got to the top is my work-life balance. So I feel as a woman, Noeline, that it is our moral obligation to look after family, right? So career is something you decided to take up.
That's right.
So initially, I am able to switch off and switch on. When I'm in office, I 100% concentrate on work, and my home front is arranged in such a way that I can do that. Then when I'm at home, it is a total focus on what is happening at home. I don't think much about office. So if I am to give an example, when my daughter was schooling, she was a very active tennis player. She used to practice 7 days a week. So when I leave office, I used to pick her up from after work. I used to pick her up from practice. So when I leave office, I completely switch off. And then from the time she gets into the vehicle, it's all about her, listening to her. My 100% concentration is on her. And then until I drop her in school the next day or drop her at practice the next day, it was all about her. And she and I, now she's a very independent adult actually now. But she and I developed such a relationship that she used to tell me everything. Her boyfriend problems, everything used to be told to me.
Friendly.
Very friendly. So actually I feel this is my personal thinking, there is no top of the super career woman if your family, if the kids are gone some other way, you don't have the affection of the children. So that's how I balance work life. Then now she's big, and my attention, she actually hardly needs my attention now. So now I have more time for photography. So my photography trips mostly are on my own. My husband and I have an understanding on that, and both of us do have certain space that we give each other. That he does his thing and I do my thing.
That gives like more fresh. It like keeps your relationship super fresh.
Yes, and it's an understanding and trust that the two of us have. Health, yes, I'm exercise freak. So after work I try to exercise. So at least 5 days a week, but because of social responsibilities, because of work responsibilities, sometimes 5 days doesn't happen, but at least 3 days I try to do.
Good stuff. Good stuff. How did you reach to the top in the banking industry? Share your journey with us. In the sense, like, where do you start from? It'll be an encouragement for the younger female viewers that I have. Tell me the journey.
So I, as I told you, I'm a banker by profession. I started at Sampath Bank as a school leaver.
Okay.
And rose from the bottom.
From the scratch.
So while I was working, I got myself qualified. Determination, hard work, commitment is that something that took me up. And because of the hard work and determination, I managed to get my promotions real fast. Actually, in all the grades, when I got promoted, I was the youngest DGM, youngest AGM.
Yeah.
So that's how I reached the top. So it was all about hard work, and also I also see now. Initially, I told you about work-life balance.
That's right.
In addition to that, you're in the corporate world. You're in a man's world, right?
Yes.
So you got to be a man.
Yes.
Right.
Hustle.
And tough woman that you are.
Yeah.
Decision makings have to be better than theirs, faster than theirs, and you can never let them bully you around.
That's right.
So that's, I think, the two things. One thing is this determination, all that, and the work-life balance.
You work hard, and then you know where you stand.
Yeah, exactly. So those are things that help me reach the top.
Perfect. Okay. If you could change one thing about Sri Lanka, it's non-photography related, what would that be?
Okay, there's
the hypothetical thinking.
Yeah. One thing I related to my love for the wild and photography, one thing I would like changed is we need to give the running and the management of the wildlife and the nature to experienced people. We have very inexperienced people now, and as a result, we are not going anywhere. And second thing is we should have experienced people and let them run independently for the betterment of the country without any political interference. You know, they some of them find it very difficult to do their job because of. So two things I would like changed is the fact to have senior people running the wildlife system and letting them run it very independently for the betterment of the country.
True. Good stuff. I hope that would happen though. Let's just not be, it's just a dream of ours.
If not, I really do not know where we will end up. Yeah.
Okay. There's one thing that I've noticed in your photography, it's the fine detailing, right? Do you normally pre-plan these shots, or how does it work?
So yes, I do pre-plans, especially on the landscape side. You got to pre-plan the location, right? It has to be a good location for landscape photography. So pre-planning the location is very important. You got to check out the location prior to actually go in there, and then it's all about timing. It has to be early morning or late evening. So blue hour, sunrise, golden hour, and then in the evening, golden hour, sunset, and the blue hour. So that's what is for landscape photography. It has to be the location and the timing. Of course, after doing all that, you need to have luck on your side because it's nature, it's out of control, and it might start raining and
then everything collapses, all your plan collapses.
On the wildlife also, pre-planning is required as to the location. And again, photography is best early morning or late evening with the golden light. Pre-planning is important because it all depends on the behavior of the animals. So sometimes during certain time of the year, it's good to visit a certain park. And certain time of the year it may be another park. So for example, if you're going to Min area, you got to go during the migration where the water is low and the animals are all in the fields. So like that, both
you got to do your research.
And pre-planning is required.
It's required. Okay. One thing you wish you knew when you started photography, but you know now, what would that be?
Maybe I don't have anything like that, Noeline, because of the fact that I developed my photography as I went along. So I learned on the job. So I don't think
you knew something. Okay. Aside from camera and lens, is there one thing that you'd always take into a shoot or like a photography tour or whatever, aside from your camera and lens? Any other gear?
So beanbag, tripod or a monopod, depending on what you're doing. So if it's a landscape, it has to be a tripod. If it's wildlife photography where you have to walk, it will have to be a monopod. If it's a wildlife in a jeep, it is a beanbag. So that is to stabilize the camera.
That would be your essentials. Yeah. Okay. What is some of the best advice you've ever received in life? This doesn't have to be necessarily about photography, just in general life.
Okay, more than advice, Noeline, it is, I think, how we were brought up by our parents. I have 2 brothers and myself. My father was a government servant. He was well educated. He reached the top of the head of the department of the institute that he was working in at the time of retirement. The way he conducted himself, he was, I mean, being in government service, the way he conducted himself, the way he did his job, was an inspiration to me.
Yeah.
He was a real officer and a gentleman. So to date, he's my mentor, my inspiration.
Okay.
And being in government service, there isn't a lot of money, but we were brought up in very, very happy environment. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's the lesson you learned. Like, that would be like, it's the way that you were brought up, and then you are passing it on to your kids as well.
Yes.
Cool. Despite your workload, how do you stay inspired and keep yourself confident and happy and like motivated?
Okay. So initially, at work, I'm a very results-driven person. I get angry, I get worked up.
Aggressive.
If you ask anybody who works with me, everybody will have to say the same thing.
Okay.
But initially, when it was about going up the ladder in the career, it was inspiration of working hard and being promoted and going up. So now I'm more or less at the top. Next job is the CEO's job. I don't think I want to take it.
Yeah.
So now the inspiration.
You don't want to. You should try. You should try for it. I want you to be the CEO.
It's too much of a hassle now, nowadays. I rather retire where I am now. So now what inspires me is actually my photography. So I do a lot of planning. I want to now read a little bit more, deepen my knowledge about photography. So that is the thing that inspires and keep me motivated, and
keep
the happy-go-lucky person is coming from the other stuff that I do other than work.
Perfect. Okay. What do you spend money on most other than your gear? I know you spend arms and legs on your gear. Not that, but what else do you spend money on?
Okay. I spend a lot of money on traveling.
Okay.
So when I travel. So these days that money is saved because you can't travel.
Okay.
And on and off, depending on my mood, maybe on jewelry, and then rest of it is on myself, my clothes, my hair,
I love it. Yeah. I love that spending habit. What is your favorite place to shoot in Sri Lanka?
Of course, it's Yala.
Yala.
I was taken there when I was a 1-year-old kid. Last weekend also I was there. So that is my favorite place.
Yeah.
Some people complain saying there are too many vehicles in the park, you can't get a shot. Even if there are vehicles and you do not want to go where all the vehicles are, just to sit by a water hole or a plane, it's a beautiful place. And I love the environment there.
Yeah, you do. That's like a true lover of nature.
Oh yeah, yes.
Because I'm not a big fan of going to Yala because I feel like it's just like so clustered all the time. But like you're a true lover of nature.
Yeah, so if you really enjoy wildlife, you got to like it. Otherwise there is no. Now my husband is not as mad as us. Yeah. So as myself and my daughter. I
tell my husband I'm not cut out for the wildlife. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? I'm not cut out for that. He goes and sit there and like wait with the lens.
So that's what I do. So when we go to Yala, he stays in the bungalow. If we do 6 trips, he will do 1 trip. But he stays in the bungalow, and he doesn't bother me of going and doing what I have to do.
What you enjoy doing. Perfect. Okay. Do you have a dream spot that you want to shoot, like location-wise or like a country-wise? Do you have any spot that you like I am gonna go there, go there? What is it?
So there are so many dream spots.
Okay.
So
let's
Iceland.
List up 2.
Okay, Iceland was one of the dream spots. Okay. So which I did last year.
Done and dusted.
Then I was planning to do Scotland this year. Okay. The birds and the landscape.
Oh yeah.
So that I had to postpone because of COVID. And then in the US, there are some beautiful landscape sites that I
want to go to. Is it Arizona, Nevada?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, pretty. I've been. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
If I asked you to give me a message to the upcoming hobbyist female photographers, what would you say?
Okay. To do photography, you need to have the passion, the love, and the like for it.
Yeah.
Right. So, firstly, you got to have the passion for it. Secondly, you must enjoy it.
Yes.
Right? If you do not enjoy it, you should not be doing it.
Yeah.
Then once you start doing it, while enjoying it, you need to improve to put out a good photograph.
Yes.
Maybe not the best in the world, but a good photograph which you can be happy with.
Yeah.
So advice is you got to have the passion for it. You got to enjoy it because it's a hobby. You got to enjoy it, and then you must develop yourself to do a good photograph.
Better than yesterday, like keep improving.
That's right. Yes.
Cool. Okay, my last question for you. How has photography impacted your life as a career woman, being a very busy person in the country, one of the busiest person probably with the current economy, I believe.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you stay, how has photography impacted your life?
It has impacted positively immensely. If you ask me, my stress reliever, my meditation is the photography. So when I'm, as I said in office, I'm a workaholic, resource driven. But when I am out of office and I am in a park, I'm a completely different person. I will just I can sit for hours by a water hole. That is how. So then with that you are also meditating yourself, because you're cooling your system, you're cooling your mind. So I realized that now Friday I work very hard, weekend I take off, do photography, come back on Monday, I'm
fully
very much
fully recharged. Okay.
So it actually, if you ask me, one of the reasons why I've stayed healthy and my mentally balanced is
you could stay focused, concentrate more because you're relaxed when you need to.
Is my hobby on photography.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you for having and giving me the time and having me here to do the 20 questions with you. It has been an immense pleasure with the workload that you have. It means a lot to me. You have no idea what this means to me, Hiranthi. I wish you all the luck, and I wish that you reach the CEO level, even though you don't want it. I want you to reach, so I could go out and be like, hey, she's my friend. I could do that. So thank you for your time. I wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
And may you achieve everything you want, and may you all go to all the dream locations that you want to go shoot at.
Thank you, Noeline. All the best to you too.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.